There were major developments this week in the wars in Ukraine and Gaza. So I'm joined now by Congressman Michael McCaul of Texas, the former chair of the Homeland Security and Foreign Relations Committee. It's good to see you this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Congressman, President Trump said on Thursday that those 19 Russian drones that entered Polish airspace could be a mistake by Russia. Do you think it was a mistake?
With all deference to the president, I don't think that was a mistake. I think Putin is testing the resolve of NATO. He wants to see how NATO reacts, how Poland reacts. The good news is Poland had a great response. They shot him down. But it shows you how aggressive Putin is getting in the region. Not only the drones, but these war game exercises with Belarus, right on the NATO border, the Baltic states, the nuclear bombers that flew to Poland around close to their airspace, and then these strikes up in the Arctic. He's really putting the pressure on right now.
But Poland obviously did not think that was a mistake, and NATO is moving air defenses, including air patrols, from the Baltics to the Mediterranean. Do you think that's a good move, or could that possibly escalate things?
Well, I think it's a response to Putin's aggression. Putin is the one responsible for this. And so it's called Eastern Sentry. That means the prepositioning of assets, relocation of military assets to the eastern flank of NATO, right on the border. We've never seen anything like this in recent times. And so what I'm concerned about is that the escalation here and the temperature rising, we got to be very careful not to be on the precipice of a World War III.
Talk about that more, because they are going to escalate this. They're going to put in more air defenses. So Putin, that's what Putin was worried about originally, he said, the root causes of this, he kept saying. So what do you expect to happen from Russia?
I think he'll continue to be provocative and saber rattle. I don't think he would use nuclear weapons. I think China put a red line. I think, you know, the nuclear fallout could even go into his country or invoke Article 5 in Poland. So I think what we need to do is negotiate out of strength.
But you've heard President Trump this week, and again, multiple threats about these sanctions. Starting back August 21st and 22nd, he says they'll know what happens in 2 weeks. Trump says on August 18th, it would be known in a week or two whether the war would continue, and we'll do something. August 15th, it goes on and on and on, and these deadlines simply pass, and Putin puts more pressure and bigger attacks in Ukraine.
And it would give the president more strength in his negotiations. Now, as I understand it, the president wants all of NATO to join together on secondary sanctions. It doesn't do us any good to put secondary sanctions
and stop buying Russian oil.
Right.
Think that's going to happen?
And allow France and Germany to continue to buy Russian oil. So this has to be a team effort. I think NATO needs to stick together on this. And NATO is an organization with the United States leading, puts the secondary sanctions on. I predict that is what's going to happen.
Tom Tillis said he believes Russia is playing the U.S. Do you think President Trump was played, especially at that Alaska summit?
I never had any good faith anticipation of these negotiations. Putin is a KGB once and always, and I don't think he's playing fair. I think he's manipulating the president as a KGB officer would. I think the president, though, the good news is waking up to the fact that Putin is not negotiating in good faith, not making concessions, and has to be dealt with. And the more Putin irritates the president, I think the better we are in terms of defending NATO and Ukraine.
And just quickly on Qatar, the Israelis did a strike in Qatar, our ally. What do you think the effects of that are?
I get the wanting to take out Hamas. And by the way, they missed all the targets. They didn't hit the Hamas leadership. I understand all that, but remember, Qatar has one of our largest air bases. Our CENTCOM hub is run out of Qatar. We asked them to negotiate these negotiations with Hamas, and then the shot across the bow. I don't think, as the president said, this does not serve the interests of the United States or Israel well long term. And what do I mean by that? I think normalization is where we want to be at the end of the day. The more we inflame the Arab world, the less likely that normalization process. What do I mean by that? I mean peace with Israel, Abraham Accords.
I want to close with this. 9/11 anniversary this week, overshadowed certainly by the shooting of Charlie Kirk. Your career has been based on what happened on 9/11.
Yeah. I was up there in New York for that powerful ceremony. It changed my life and many others, but I became a counterterrorism federal prosecutor within the Justice Department. I entered Congress. I chaired the Homeland Security Committee. I saw the rise of ISIS and the Caliphate as chairman of Foreign Affairs. I saw Afghanistan fall and Putin invade Ukraine and the Middle East on fire. And then the threat from Chairman Xi and China in the Indo-Pacific. These are all issues it's been an honor to serve for over 2 decades in the Congress. I'm looking now for a new challenge. I'm going to serve the remainder of my term, but I'm looking for a new challenge in the same space, that would be national security, foreign policy, but just in a different realm. But I want to continue to serve the people of this country in national security and foreign policy, and do what I've done the last 2 decades, make America stronger and the world safer.
Well, that's a good plan. They'll miss you on the Hill. You got a ways to go. Thanks for joining us this week.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.